This storm right here, and that little notch, that little hook right there is what the National Weather Service is watching for the potential of rotation. After hearing Brian's story and his family and just really seeing the damage, you probably can hear it in my voice. I'm just so thankful that his family is okay. Despite the injuries, they will end up being okay. It's just going to be a long recovery. I'm standing about 5 miles east of Valdosta, where some of the worst of the damage was. Now, some of the video we're going to show you first is actually where the tornado likely started, and you'll see that here. We started in the Dasher area, as we mentioned, at Hickory Grove Road and Ezell Road. Now, the twister rapidly moved through where Brian Williams' mobile home was destroyed. He wasn't home at the time of the storm, but he did have family that was. Williams mentioning that his sister and his nephew were underneath the rubble behind the tornado as it passed. We're going to hear more from Brian at 6. So notice how this right here, just west of 441, this change in color matches up with the bright reds and greens. So I can almost guarantee that we have a tornado on the ground right now west of US 441 in Clinch County. This is the one I'm focusing on right now because it looks like it is something that is on the ground at this point in time. And there you go. The National Weather Service has issued that shaded, which means the tornado is observed. This circulation looks like it's crossing the highway right now, and if there is indeed a tornado on the ground, it could be dangerous, like earlier today, where we had what looked like a tornado crossing Highway 84 near the Valdosta area. So the last place you want to be during a tornado is in a vehicle. That's very dangerous, but that is certainly some really strong rotation, and again, that continues to be radar indicated from the National Weather Service, moving at 40 miles per hour. This is now in effect until 3:45. Mike and I also talked a little bit about the tornado risk. We upped that because we're growing in confidence that there not only could be several tornadoes, but one or two of those could end up on the stronger side. If you are near or live near the intersection of I-75 and Highway 41, that's west of Highland Heights, that's where we're seeing some of the strongest winds as of right now. I'll take a measurement at some of the wind speeds that are being estimated on radar right now. And again, these aren't necessarily winds that are making it to the surface, but these are wind potentials that could make it to the surface, 50, 60 miles per hour. This area here is that weak rotation that the National Weather Service was watching for. And it certainly was a little more intense about 15 minutes ago, which prompted the tornado warning in Jefferson County. Maybe you're in Monticello watching me. It does look like you're getting another thunderstorm right now. That is not the one that is tornadic. It does look like it has some pretty strong winds with it, but it doesn't look like it's rotating right now. And we still have a widespread enhanced risk. That's the brown shade you see, not just for the Big Bend in South Georgia, but that really expands from about Destin, Panama City, northward to the Carolinas. Brian Williams told me an incredible story, and the bottom line is he himself was not home during this tornado, but he did have family that was, so certainly a very scary encounter. The mobile home was torn, leaving debris scattered all across his yard. And again, as I mentioned, Brian Williams, was not home at the time, but after the tornado passed, he got a phone call from his nephew who said that his home was lifted off the foundation, telling Brian that his house was destroyed. Again, that was his nephew who called him. And here's what Brian said after he encountered the damage.
Shock, you know. It's just a lot to take in. We're thankful because nobody got killed, and we can always overcome and rebuild. You just can't replace a life.
The only reported injuries from the tornado, of course, coming from this damage, of course, after hearing Brian's story and his family, and just really seeing the damage, you probably can hear it in my voice. I'm just so thankful that his family is okay. Despite the injuries, they will end up being okay. It's just going to be a long recovery. And I just want to take a moment to just show you some of the damage. We're going to go to my right here, and where you see some of the concrete back there, that's the original foundation of the mobile home. Tornado ripped through, and there's debris scattered all across the yard. And that brown, I guess, bar you see there is the foundation of the mobile home that's flipped upside down. And again, we're talking about 120 miles per hour with those winds. Just really is an incredible story that despite the damage, nobody was seriously injured or killed.